Hey everyone, welcome back to the Weekly Awakening podcast. This is your host, Cosmic Colleen, back with another weekly astrology update. We have officially entered Pisces season. The sun is at 0 degrees Pisces season. And this is going to be a big fucking magical Pisces season. I put on East Coast time that the sun moved into Pisces at 3:13 p.m. according to my calculations, where I get my calculations from. But then when I clicked on something on my computer where I see where all the planets were, because I was actually looking at something else, I was like, oh, we are in Pisces season right now. So as I record this, we're in Pisces season right now. First of all, we sort of began it last week when Mercury entered Pisces, which happened on Friday, February 14th. I'm going to talk about that on this episode. The sun, though, is now in Pisces season. Then on Thursday, the 20th, the sun in Pisces will square Jupiter in Gemini. On Sunday, the 23rd, Mercury in Pisces will trine Mars retrograde in Pisces. And then Mars will station direct in Cancer on Sunday. Yay, we made it, guys. Then on Tuesday, the 25th, Mercury will conjunct Saturn in Pisces. We have a new moon in Pisces on Thursday, the 27th. And then March 1st, Mercury retrograde will begin its shadow phase. Then Mercury will conjunct the North Node. Venus will station retrograde in Aries. So what I'm saying, guys, is a big fucking magical Pisces week that we are about to embark on in season. This is going to be an extra big season. I mean, we thought the last 2 years Pisces seasons has been a little bit big, with Saturn being there, and we'll talk about that. But now that we have the eclipses starting, there's a lot of magic happening, the big Pisces season. So also something that's happening, I'm not going to talk too much about it because I'll talk about it when it happens, but there will be a lunar eclipse, the first lunar eclipse beginning in these Pisces Virgo axis. Remember, Pisces and Virgo are oppositions on the table, on the chart of zodiac. So it will be going opposite. We got the first lunar eclipse going opposite Pisces in March. So again, a big fucking month. It's a big fucking month. So my mutable signs, that is my Gemini, my Virgo, my Pisces, my Sagittarius, you guys are going to be feeling this the strongest and the most. This week, my Cancer placements are also going to be feeling it just because Mars is stationing retrograde in Cancer, and you're going to have a trine to all of this magic happening in Pisces. But for this next month, this next 6 weeks, it is going to be very confusing for a lot of my mutable signs. There's going to be lots of shifts. At first, it's kind of going to feel like confusion, dreamy, fantasy, feeling like your intuition is on point, but not your mental intuition, just sort of your gut intuition. However, your mental intuition might be a little bit confused with what is happening. So again, this is beginning a season of change. This is beginning of shifting, finally moving past a stuck reality. A month of creative breakthroughs. And again, I say a month, but really 2 months. But the big Pisces season is going to be pretty big. And then we have those planets retrograding back into Pisces. So this is like next 2 months are going to be wild. A month of creative breakthroughs and finally seeing the deeper meaning or the purpose to something. There has been a long change that's been meaning to come, especially since Saturn entered Pisces in the beginning of March of 2023. So for my mutable placements, there's sort of been this change that we have seen happening, but it's been really hard to make that change. Whether it's been we've been waiting around, dragging our asses around, not feeling like it, stopped, blocked, slow down. Saturn brings those things. There's a lot of hard work and strife and it takes time. Things don't always happen, but there's something there, you know, my Pisces, they don't always love to change. And there's something there with Pisces with just like, especially when Saturn entered it, like, I see my ways, but I cannot change it. Now, the next 6 weeks, bringing Pisces season to life and beyond, we're going to be starting the season of letting go through small changes. When we begin an eclipse season, and we're having a new series now with Virgo and Gemini, we're going to have one last final solar eclipse in Aries, which that's going to be great. Kind of, you know, it merges into each other. Each time there's a switchover, there's a month where there's like an eclipse happening in the old and then an eclipse happening in the new. So we're in this beginning and this shifting energy. And so when we have our eclipses, it's like a domino effect. There's kind of small changes. There's big changes too, but there's kind of these small changes that accumulate to a really big change that you don't quite see coming. And sometimes those puzzles don't make sense. It makes sense at the end. And I'm sure a lot of my Cardinal placements, especially my Aries and Libras, you guys in life now are probably like, oh, it makes sense. But if you looked back to around 2.5 years ago, things didn't make sense. You saw those pieces dropping and you were like, what the heck? But now it's making sense that we're at the end of the eclipse series. So again, this is why it's making this Pisces season all the more magical. Some of the themes of the Pisces season sort of broken down. Again, first, Mercury in Pisces, we want to say that this is what we're going to be talking about. Mercury in Pisces, and it will start retrograding in Aries and then move direct back in. Well, we'll retrograde back into Pisces, then move direct. But Mercury in Aries is not at its best at all. It's just like in Jupiter's sign of Sagittarius, Jupiter rules over both. It actually doesn't work at its best and will square Jupiter and Gemini. So like I talked on my other episodes, like when Mercury was retrograding in Sagittarius, there is a mutual reception there. So there is kind of things working out or coming together, or it works a little bit better when the two signs are in their opposition signs, but each of them are in each other's opposition signs. So one of the really big themes that are going to happen this weekend, are going to be really wanting to believe in something again. I think that's been over the year, especially for my mutable placements, 2 years, it's been kind of hard. There's been this sort of loss or lack of faith. So really wanting to believe in something again, feeling a big desire to believe in God or have faith in a belief again, go trust the universe again. Maybe someone or something has caused you to kind of lose that belief. And now you're yearning for it again. You're really feeling that drive, that energy to have that belief again. It's actually really important. Something that we're born with. There's something inherited in our DNA where like we need something to believe in from the beginning. I can't think it's not a mistake that since the beginning of human time, of our being, our creation, we have all searched or believed in something greater than ourselves. And I think having that knowing is not a mistake. So at times, I think since COVID, we're in a world now that doesn't celebrate religion or spirituality or God or things like that, and lack of connection. We need this more than ever. And you can sense it in the world. But that's going to be one of the big themes. Sorry, I digress. A big expression of emotion that can't be put into words. This is, again, for starting Wednesday evening into Saturday, jump-starting your intuition, having a shift in time reality, or just realizing you experience time in a different way than you have in the past or normally ever remember experiencing. Overall confusion on your mind and soul, however the confusion will play out when Mercury retrogrades back into Pisces at the end of March. This can be a transit where maybe your loosey-goosey spending money is now coming back to bite you a little. Maybe you want to see where you want to be more serious with your funds. Some of my mutable signs can be a little bit loosey-goosey. So this might be a transit where you're like, oh shit, I actually don't have money to pay my mortgage. Maybe I shouldn't have put that down payment on that trip, or, bought those $500 pair of shoes or something like that. But it's the mutable sign, so it will be something quick. Your funds will be, just definitely watch over spending. It's not going to be detrimental, but it may be like, oh crap, I got to work a little bit harder this week because I didn't realize I spent all that money. And also just getting to know your soul in a deeper way. But from a more isolated standpoint, which I feel like we've been doing, since Saturn's in Pisces, and now that we're having this Pisces season pileup, there's a lot of isolated energy that is around Pisces. And so because we're having this, it's sort of like, and it's going to be squaring the Jupiter in Gemini, it's like getting to know your soul deeper, but from an isolated standpoint. What is nobody likes the feeling of just blah, right? I kind of feel blah, but mind you, my surgery went well. I'm here, I'm doing an episode, everything went well. I'm still recovering, but I'm kind of detoxing a lot of things out of my body, and the weather's like this, and I've just been sort of sitting with myself and thinking blah, like this, like a little bit, not at first, but now I'm kind of like, blah. But what is that? That's important, though. It's important to, and I think I say it all the time, but to get to know yourself without the distractions. And more than ever, are we in a world filled with just distractions? Okay, on Sunday the 23rd, Mercury in Pisces will trine Mars in Cancer, just as Mars is getting direct to station. It's getting ready to station direct a little bit later on Sunday. So yay, everyone, again, you made it through one of the hardest Mars retrogrades. Mars retrograding in Cancer is not easy, and you could have just seen it. We've all been slow and tired and no drive and other lack of things. But here's going to be some of the good with that. There will be a full circle closure with our pain, making sense of our pain. We felt maybe some of the family trauma get brought up, especially for my cardinal signs. Some of the trauma got brought up to the surface to feel, and now we can finally heal from it. We felt it, we dealt it, and we saw what we needed to, and we can move on. The energy should be easy to move on from now, and it won't be at the forefront of your minds anymore. Again, it can be hard. Healing is funny. It's not linear. It's all over the place. Sometimes you think you healed something, and then it comes up out of nowhere. Some things you think don't bother you, they come up again. So this probably brought up a lot of stuff, again, for my cardinal placements. That's to remind you guys, my Capricorn, my Aries, my Cancer, and my Libra. This could have brought up, especially Cancers, this like family issues, family drama, family like that coming to a head. So family confrontations will be mending when this happens. Like things will be on the mend, and that mend will really start this weekend and then really develop as the new moon in Pisces begins a little bit following that time. This is a big, strong time for emotional healing, being able to think or process your feelings clearly to someone, speaking freely and healing about your pain, mentally understanding your pain, bringing strength to your words. I'm loving this. I know we're all ready to have a little supercharged emotions in a good light, and that will be happening starting Sunday. Mars direct in Cancer, again, besides my Pisces, you cardinal signs and my Pisces will be feeling that energy the most. And there's going to be a shift in energy, less, like I said, drugged down or having no motivation or drive, ending this retrograde. With Mercury in Pisces, it does add a little bit of a pep in the step, but with the trine to that. But again, the energy won't be cranky. It won't be slow. There's going to be clearing up some loose ends from the fall time when originally Mars had moved into Cancer. So again, Mars retrograde, again, you survived it. It's never fun, but when it's in the moon sign, it is really never fun at all. And the momentum will be back and we will be returning. So it's important, Mars direct in Cancer, it's important to remember that where is going to be the moon at the time. So I wanted to add this little thing. The moon will actually be in Capricorn at the time when Mars stations direct in Cancer. And that is actually where Mars works at its best, where it's exalted. So again, I want to stress and add family conflict resolution, understanding, a drive to start doing again, or just more momentums. We are excited. And then once it ingresses back into Leo, it is on, baby. Our drive this spring, April, is going to be popping. April, May is definitely going to be popping with energy again. So hold on to that belief. We're going to be mentally stable again. Though I feel like with eclipses and everything in all of that Pisces energy, I don't know about totally mentally stable, but maybe not as aggressive. I have a few more themes here. Not feeling pain anymore, having the strength to come back, forgiveness, healing the body, bringing structure to a home environment that was maybe a little disrupted, and in general, a calm home environment, bringing order to chaos. And then next week, we have the new moon in Pisces on Thursday, the 27th, 7:44 p.m. East Coast time. At this time, at the same time as the new moon in Pisces, Mercury in Pisces will sextile Uranus in Taurus, and then the next day, the new moon will conjunct Saturn. So these are the two themes around this new moon. And again, the nodes are here now. The nodes just went backwards. They go backwards and moved in to Pisces and Virgo. So however, this new moon is not with the node, which is why it's not an eclipse yet, but the full moon in Virgo will be with the node, the south node, so it will be a lunar eclipse in Pisces season. Again, stay tuned. I'll be talking about that. So these are the themes around the new moon. So honestly, for my mutable placements, it's not going to be very shocking because most likely something that gets brought up around this new moon will have already, and even with eclipse season, honestly, that's going to be not the shocking part, will have been something that has got brought up in March of 2023, since Saturn entered Pisces. It isn't yet anything that's been totally dealt with right out, or maybe it was dealt with a little bit, then dusted under the rug or forgot about. But we're now it's going to be highlighted. It's going to be beginning with this new moon, something good with it, but it's going to be highlighted. So I don't think that my mutable placements are going to be shocked with what happens, especially once we hit that Virgo lunar eclipse and we start entering that, because Saturn gave us a little bit of what we had to look for, I feel like, and what's in store. So with the new moon in Pisces, we can receive the help that we finally need, and we will be receiving the help that we finally need. We can finally get out of our own ways of escaping reality that maybe have been harmful to us. This is a new moon full of creative energy, which has been kind of blocked again since Saturn entered Pisces. It has sort of blocked that creative energy in other ways. It has brought, and now the end of its transit, it will bring more structure to creative ideas and allow creative ideas to unfold. But as a whole, there's been a little bit of a blocked creative purpose. I mean, I feel like even online, you see everything online. Now everyone's done it. So everyone's brain is bored with seeing it. And now you got AI taking over creative. There's been just a lot of like blocked creative energy right there. And we're going to start experiencing the removal a little bit of that blocked energy. So I am excited about that. And also maybe seeing if we are getting in our own ways. There's always these outside forces, but in what ways might we be getting in our own way of the creative energy? And when do we usually feel more creative? Okay, here's the weekly awakening. Here's what I want us to think about. When is it that we feel most creative? And it doesn't have to be drawing a picture, right? It doesn't have to be sitting down and painting. That's what we obviously look at. But everything is a creation. So when do we feel most creative? For me, and with all my Mercury placements, I actually feel most creative when I'm in a conversation with someone. The way I can develop or understand or interpret what they say to me, the energy, the intuition I get from what people say to me, the understanding, the way that a conversation can develop. To me, that's very creative. That's how I show up creatively. So there's these different levels of creation. First of all, ask yourself, how does your creativity show up for you? What is the most ways you feel creative? And often, I can tell you what the answer is. It's when we are in the daily flow of the universe, when we show up day in and day out with an open acceptance to whatever God's plan is for that day. When we are fixated on the daily worries of tomorrow, we miss living in the now. And we know that, but we have to really be kind of drilled into our heads a lot of times. And the true creation only shows up in the moment, when you seize that moment. But it's very hard to seize that moment if you are constantly worried about the 10 different things tomorrow. Oh my gosh, what if it snows? What if I can't take my car there? Where am I going to park? What am I going to do? All those crazy worries stop you from showing up and allowing yourself to be creative in the moment with however creativity shows up for you in your life. And obviously, we live in a world where we do need a structure, somewhat of a structure, right? We go to work, we have a house, we got to pay bills. But can we allow that structure, to be there without having the absolute mindset around how it does show up? Then we can still live in the day today, living in the creation of the moment. But hey, if tomorrow it changes, then maybe tomorrow it changes. You understand? Not allowing that absolute mindset. I got to go. I have to be there 10 minutes early because I have to get that parking spot. Because if I don't get that parking spot, I'm going to be 1 minute late, maybe, all of those things. And that's just an example. But people's heads a lot will run and run and run. And again, you lose the ultimate creation of the moment. Of whatever that looks like, planting, cooking, laughter, making jokes. That is all creation, love, making love, creation that we have to be able to be open and in the mindset of. And this new moon is a great new moon. It's a wonderful new moon, especially for people that get held up in that, because with Pisces, there's a lot about them living in the moment. That's actually the biggest pain in the ass about Pisces, is that you can't get them usually to have structure. You can't get, like, they're good for a couple months, and then it's like, whoa, where are you now? You're over here, you're over there. That's a little bit of the mutable, especially the Jupiter ruled mutable signs, and I talked about that on last week's episode a little bit more between the difference of those two signs. But allow yourself to show up. Allow yourself, even if you start the day with a mantra, universe, God, allow me to show up as I should today. Please take worries from me. However it may show up, ask, talk about it, but allow yourself to be in this moment. Again, thank you for all your support. Some of you have reached out, asked how I was. Things are going I have a fabulous friend, Donna. She has been listening to this podcast for years, and actually she was on this podcast in 2022, talked about one of her books. Well, she has a podcast now, and it is called the Bounce Back Stronger podcast. She has been through so much, and this podcast, it's amazing. She brings so many people on with stories of hope and understanding and spirituality and open-mindedness. And she had me on her podcast, which I was honored. And we talk about the forecast for 2025. So if you want to listen, head over there and follow her page, follow her podcast. You will love it. And check out what I have to say. I love you, everyone, and have a beautiful day.